You're driving the stock down. So poor little man with 20 shares of Virgin Galactic gets fearful, sells all his shares, and you greedy sods buy it all. It is what it is. It's the game you all decided to play. So there it is. Virgin Galactic breaking news update. It's disgusting. Is it? Or is it just the game? This morning, just before the bell, we heard some very negative news. Is it stock manipulation, or does it represent the true value of Virgin Galactic? In this video, I'm going to bring you some news that came out just before the bell. I'm also going to bring you the news of the sentiment, how it's changed. Also, the revenue and other news around Virgin Galactic. We're going to use several metrics this morning. We're going to have a look at this breaking news. I'll come on to that in a second. We're going to look at this important information here and much, much more. So stick with me. A very, very important video, this one. At the end of the day, stock market is a very dirty place. And what I'm about to tell you won't surprise those of you that are in the stock market and have been for a while, but it could surprise you as well, those that think it's all a nice place. It ain't. It's horrible. What goes on here on the stock market on Wall Street is quite disgusting, but it is what it is. You decide, is it disgusting or is it the game? You just have to know the rules. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is it disgusting what we're seeing this morning? I'm going to explain what it is, or is it just part of the game? And if you can't handle it, you shouldn't be playing the game. Right, well, let's talk about it. What's going on this morning? If it's your very first time here, click subscribe and ring the bell and give us a thumbs up. That'll be great. Before I share with you the news, let's remind you of the actual financials of Virgin Galactic. We are limited with what we can run through our algorithmic software, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make any profit yet, or any reasonable profit, that is. So we don't have enough information. But remember, the revenue, 4.9 million. Okay, not very much. Moving up though. Moving up, the analysts expect this recent range is up 25%, going up in the future dramatically once Delta comes. Now, we knew, and we asked for it, that we wanted them to cut costs, get us to Delta, and would be good. Right? This is all good. Everything that's happening now on the stock is good. Now, on the bell this morning, I announced that we would get some that we had at 5 o'clock this morning, institutions buying and selling the stock. Hours before this news was released. I said it. If you watch my earlier video, I'll give you the link to it at the end. As the bell went, I said at 5 o'clock this morning, there was institutions buying and dumping the stock. It was dumped and bought back a couple of times this morning, and I was watching it at 5 o'clock this morning. It's all part of the game. Just before we got this announcement, and I said, it's bullish. It's painful, but it's bullish, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Let me scroll down to the news a minute. Look, I've shared you all these figures before. I've shown you that the profitability score was 25, negative gross profit. We know all about this. I've shown this before, because they're spending money. They're not making any money at the moment. We've covered all of this. Space solvency score is 42. Great. Short-term solvency, tick. Negative debt, tick. Net debt, tick. Long-term solvency, tick. Low DE, tick. 42 is great. It's not fantastic. It's not bright green like Apple or Amazon, but it's fine. They're not going bust. So why have we had this news this morning? Well, I'll tell you why. Let me give you, first of all, Wall Street's analysis. 8.4, 316% from where it is today. $4.08, 102 where it is today. Or $1. I said the very bottom could be $1, even though the actual value bottom is 150. But hey, it could go down to $1 just because that's where analysts are suggesting is a worst case scenario. I don't see that happening. Anyway, before I share that news with you, let's look at it from this perspective. Still no inside trading. No one's dumping, no one's buying, no action at all, nothing to report there. There's my reviews, folks, now making its way onto Alpha Spread. I'll give you the link to Alpha Spread in a moment. They rank above Yahoo, and there's loads of my reviews here now. CNBC, now someone said to me, and Fox, everybody, they said, oh, you're just ranking because you actually get yours, the later ones. So it puts them in date order. It does put them in date order, but the CEO and the owner of Alpha likes my content and really values my reviews and posts them all. Whereas CNBC and Yahoo Finance and all these other people, they don't get all their reviews posted. We cherry pick. Mine get all posted there. So that's why that is. Okay, now look, the sentiment. Last 30 days, nice bit of green, some negativity. Let me just line that up for you so you can see that more clear. There you go. There's the sentiment. Last 7 days, it was getting better. Everything was great. What changed? I'm telling everybody we got a short squeeze coming, preparing. Yep, and we still do. Nothing's changed. What's going on? Boom. Today, everyone, no good news, all negative. What's going on? Has the short interest changed? No. Short interest, in fact, has dropped slightly. Some of the short interest has already been taken care of. That's why we got that pop earlier. But it wasn't a full short squeeze. It was some shorts being cancelled out, but it's not the full short squeeze yet. I'm looking for much bigger returns than what we have so far, hence why I haven't sold any. So the short interest has declined slightly. No, it's got nothing to do with any of that. Nothing to do with that at all. What it's to do with is, like I said at the top of my video, it's disgusting, or is it just the way the game is? This is the reason, and I told you before this news came out. I said I was up on the bell this morning. I was up at 5 o'clock and 4 o'clock watching the trades of Virgin Galactic, and the stock was dumping. It went down to I think it was 97, 96, I think it was. Bounced back up, straight back down again. And you can't trade that time of the day. Institutions can. It's like they popped up like little worms coming out of the ground and going, here we are, we thought you'd all asleep. No, I don't sleep. I know what's going on. I saw what you were doing. And then just as we got to the bell, after all of this, big surprise. No one knows what's going on. This news came out. Virgin Galactic falls 5% as Morgan Stanley downgrades and sees further risk. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because they were buying it themselves. Absolutely disgusting, or the game we play. I am increasingly more bullish. They're not putting me off. They're not going to get me to capitulate and all the retail investors sell. All the big retail investors ain't going anywhere. We're staying, all right? You might sell out because you might get afraid, but I ain't going anywhere. I'm also not buying any more. I don't need to buy any more. But this happened just after all the action I reported on this morning. I told you it was going on the bell, the first thing I did. And if we look down here, Morgan Stanley decided to drop their price target, their valuation, to $1.75. Now, do you want to know how ridiculous that is and how much manipulation that is? That is so ridiculously insane. With the new current financial structure to take us through to Delta, that is below the cash on the books. They know it. I know it. Hopefully you know it. They did it to drive the stock down so they could buy some more. And all the small retail investors, not the big ones, I'm not selling. Andy Shovel's not selling. The biggest in the world aren't selling. But some of you are going, oh, what's going on? But it's not about you anyway. It's about institutions playing games with each other, playing silly buggers, dropping it, coming in and out, driving it down so they can buy it cheaper. That's all that is. I actually think it's fine. It's the game. Some of you might think it's disgusting that an institution can come on, downgrade a stock, influence the stock, get it to fall, and they're buying it at the same time they're saying it. They're buying it at the same time they're saying it, right? Virgin Galactic shares fell over 5% in pre-market Wednesday after Morgan Stanley analyst downgraded the rating to underweight from equal weight. The new price target, 175, implies a downside risk of 18% compared to yesterday's closing price. SPCE is pausing revenue growth revenue generating space flights as it conserves cash and redoubles efforts on Delta. We like the company's long-term potential. Oh, we like it. We like it, but see limited opportunities for share price accretion, not sure what that word is, during this upcoming lull period. Yes, there is a lull period. However, you are now trying to say the stock is way undervalued, way under the cash on the books. So you're not even valuing the potential. You've just said it's got potential. You haven't given it any value at all. You've given no value to the rockets, no value to the customers who are all ready to fly. You're just talking about the cash on the books. That is a rubbish analysis. Rubbish. You have got no idea what you're doing, except you know exactly what you're doing. It gets fearful, sells all these shares, and you greedy sods buy it all. It is what it is. It's the game you all decided to play, so there it is. So we like the company's long-term potential, but see limited opportunity, so we're going to destroy the stock price. Great. Carry on. Because what you want to know is institutions are buying it when they're saying this, because they are. We saw it at 5 o'clock this morning before this news came out. The analyst sees very few catalysts that could help shares to re-rate higher from current levels. You do for now, but you know it's going up, so you want to drive it down so you can greedily buy a rocket company. Well, guess what? You're not buying my 4,000 shares. You can whistle. Management is planning 2 additional flights I think that's Q1, not H1, Q1 24, after which it will halt revenue generating flight activity until the planned arrival of the first Delta class ships in 2026. Do you know how quickly that will come around, folks? You know how quickly that will come around? Well, 2024 is literally around the corner, weeks away. Hence the analysis, see more limited share price potential, Okay, whatever. So there you go. What do you think of that? What is your point? What is your sentiment on that? I can tell you for a fact, 100%. I even said it before the news came out. Everybody announced the news to me this morning, telling me, oh, we've got this news this morning. And I'd already said, I was up at 4 and 5 o'clock this morning, seeing the action going on, seeing these institutions buying and selling, seeing them buy back in at lower prices. And then they announced the downgrade. Didn't announce the downgrade before. They all bought in, drove it. They sold, they dumped, they bought in, then they announced the news, and then everybody in the retail sector goes, oh my God, Virgin Galactic's going to go down to like 10 cents. So they dumped it. They bought back. So what does that tell me? That tells me, well, as we always knew, the game is crooked. The playing field isn't level, and you get stuffed over by the rich boys over and over again. However, now you have me on your side. I am here 10 hours a day, the most honest person on YouTube TV. I live and breathe this stuff. I'm watching it every day. I'm up in my, even though my wife doesn't like it, go in the toilet, looking at the stocks at 4 o'clock in the morning. I knew this was happening because I was able to see the market change during the night, and I'm not buying anymore, but I'm not selling. What this does tell me is I'm even more bullish than I was before, and I can't be more bullish. I'm 100% confident on the stock. This tells me that the institutions are trying to rinse out. It's called capitulation, when all the retail investors have sold, and the only people that own it are the big boys. Well, that's up to you. And girls, of course. That's up to you. I'm not selling. I'm not adding. I'm staying right where I am. So what are you going to do? Do you think it's disgusting, or do you think it's the name of the game? Leave me your comments below. Click above my head for if you want the link to Alpha, which is what I use to gain all this extra information and what I'm doing. Look below in the description. You'll see more links, and I'll post over here more Virgin Galactic news as I get it and all the rest of it. As always, take care of your money yourselves. Most importantly, educate yourself how the market works. Take control of your emotions, and don't let anyone tell you or how to, don't let anyone change your thought on what you've already learned about a particular stock. If you like it today at 2, you love it at 150 if you're in a position to buy it. This is not me trying to encourage you to buy it. I couldn't care less what you do. I just care that you know from me, you get the truth. And I brought you the news before it even came out. There you go. Till next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Go space. I ain't going anywhere.